Hi, this is Everett, Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to my studio. And today, another watercolor demonstration. I'm really looking forward to it. A lot of different things I'm going to try today. But I am going to paint some flowers. But I'm going to do some special techniques that I found out on the internet. Uh, let me take you, let's see, let me take you to my painting table and let me get started there. And I'll describe some of my techniques I've come up with and also my part of my demonstration setup. So let's go to my overhead camera and get started. Okay, well this is kind of a reference photograph. I got a bunch of daisies here and with a nice blue sky behind and but lots of course I simplified this is just to give me an idea inspiration wise. And also I found another photograph of some daisies over here. So you know those are just to get me started. And I also got a picture of a butterfly I found, and I'm going to put that in the painting also. But a little butterfly, monarch butterfly, and some daisies. So, okay, well before I get started though, there's a special material I'm going to use today. I'm going to be using what they call fiber tape. This is self-adhesive drywall tape, and you can see it's got texture on it, little groove, and it's like a mesh shape here. Say it's drywall tape, fiber tape, and you can buy this in any hardware store. It's not very expensive at all. I think I bought this at Home Depot. There's a plenty of this small roll here. Will last a long time. So it's self-adhesive. Now what I did, I play with it a little bit here on my sketch pad here, and you can see here the tape. Let me take a piece of it off. There's what it looks like. It's a mesh, but it's got adhesive on the back of it. A little bit of like a little stick, like a little stickum on the back. But it's got a nice mesh, and they can put that over top. And you can see here, I did a little bit of experimentation here. You can see the texture I get. You get to see the texture of the flower on here and the texture in the background. And that's what I'm looking for today. So texture and a little bit of unique background. Texture and background, okay, as far as the daisies go. All right, let me put that aside. So, but let me give a shout out here to where I found this out on the internet. I was looking at the internet. My wife showed it to me, and I said, "Well, that sounds interesting." But what it is, I'm going to give a shout out to Karen Burchill, Burchill, Karen Burchill, and she has a drywall tape technique on YouTube. And I'll put the link to her YouTube demonstration on the comments below, or in the description below, so you can take a look at that. But it's Karen Burchill on YouTube on drywall tape technique. And I think you'd find that interesting. I really did. So I'm going to use that technique today to get me started. So I'm going to put aside my reference photograph here. Now I've gone ahead and I drew up a diagram here on my watercolor paper. I've got, this is a quarter sheet of watercolor paper, just watercolor. This measures 15 inches long and 11 inches wide. It's a quarter sheet of 140-pound Gemini watercolor paper, archival. And we drew in a butterfly up here just to get started. I painted it in, okay? But you can see here on this here, I've got the drawing here in the background, and then I've got this, and I put the drywall tape on top of that. You can see I'll bring it up close as I can here. You can see the tape in there. I'll turn it to an angle. So I've taped over part of that. Now I'm gonna get an interesting, I don't know, I haven't drawn this on a painting before, so this is all brand new and experimental. Okay, so let me get started. Looking forward to it. I'm gonna start out with, up here, I'm gonna put a little bit of background. I'm gonna put in some water up here at the top. I'm gonna start out with a sky. And I'm going to be careful with my little butterfly. So I'm going to put a little water up here at the top. And go a little bit around the flowers. Just a little bit, just to get started. Okay, all right, I'll put that aside. And I'm going to take my large brush. This is a 1-inch Holbein brush, synthetic. And I'm going to mix up a little bit of cobalt blue. A nice big puddle. I'm going to put this in the sky. And right next to it, I'll put a little bit of cerulean blue. A little cerulean blue here in the corner. next to the cobalt. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead now and put that, paint that right into the sky. So I'm going to just go ahead, and I might leave some white paper showing maybe clouds, but I'm going to paint right over the top of this design I have here, this drywall paper. And we'll see how it goes. A little bit of cerulean blue now over here. And I'm going to paint carefully around the butterfly over here. I'm going to leave some white paper showing for maybe some clouds. So I'm going to paint around the little butterfly. I thought that'd be an interesting little touch here to this painting, just to have a little center of interest here, a little attraction. Now I got some flowers over here also here behind. I'm going to go ahead and paint around a little bit of, just paint around some of the shapes. And continue on down here with the blue sky, get behind the little butterfly. That's watercolors on the color, and I put waterproof ink around the edges there, if you're interested in how I did that. And now I'm going to bring that sky right on down here. Yeah, now I'm painting around the shapes in here. Be interested to see how this turns out. Experimentation is always taking a little chance, a little risk, but that's how we learn, by just trying things out and see how it goes. I'm using design. I drew in some daisies here behind, but you know, they got interesting shapes and so forth. We'll see how that goes. And I'll get a little more, give them a little blue paint here. So this is going to have a little, definitely, you know, I could have made this almost abstract, because it really doesn't have a design. It's just interesting to do. It's just something different. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead. Now I'm going down at the bottom here. This is the grass. I'm using that photograph kind of as a reference. I used put some grass down here at the bottom. Again, I got the tape down. I got the tape down here at the bottom. We'll start out with some green grass. And of course, there's all kinds. With that picture I showed you, it has all kinds of daisies. I don't want to paint all those, or they were just too much to do it. So I picked a few of them that I thought were good shapes, and we'll go with that. So the first step here was to do a drawing, and then put the tape. I put the tape down. There's several ways to do it. There's several ways to do this. I mean, there's all kinds of. On that the video I referred to in the comments will give you some more guidance. The demonstrator on that video is making journals of different kinds, little books and so forth, made of different designs and so forth. So she's got a lot more than just this one demonstration. She's got a lot of demonstrations there of how to do things. So you might find that interesting. But I wanted to, I just saw this technique and I said, well, I'm going to try this on my watercolor painting. And I wanted to get texture, which I'm going to get right away automatically. With the shapes that I have here. So really this is kind of a blocking in now on top of all this. I'll give you some more green down here. A little bit of hooker's green mixed with a little bit of green number 1 and a little bit of yellow ochre maybe. Kind of knock it down just slightly. I'll put another layer of color on this to make it a little darker in the background. Okay. All right, now I'm going to dry that. Now that's just a blocking in right now, so what you can see the texture on there now all over the place, and it looks like a real mess. But let's dry this, and first of all, so the next stage is to dry this. Get the undercoating or the first layer. And you put that first layer down. The less you change it or fuss it up a little bit, because I'm going to go back in with another layer of paint on top of it after I take off the tape and define the flowers a little better and the wheat and the grass and so forth. So that'll make a difference. And I think what I'll do here now that I've got this, I use a spray bottle. I use my palette in a bottle dot sprayer, sold exclusively at Everett Watercolors. And I can put a little bit of color in there. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow, some yellow in here, which is the daisies in the background. So it kind of splatter a little bit of yellow around, give a little bit of background color. Just a light tapping motion to get that in there. Okay, get that out and get that dry. So we'll dry that up a little bit. And here's another palette. Here's another dot sprayer. Palette in a bottle dot sprayer, sold exclusively at Everett Watercolors. I got this. This first was yellow lemon. This here is orange. A little bit of orange mixed into that yellow. Get a little another variety. So we get lots of texture today, and spray bottles is another way to get texture. So we'll see how this turns out. And also I've got another spray bottle, the palette in a bottle. It's got fine mist marked on here, but I interchange the tops. The white top is for dots, but I can use the bottle with the color from another bottle of fine mister. I can use this for a dot spray just by exchanging the tops. The white top is a dot spray. A few green drops in here. Just some green. Okay, so we add a little bit of spray bottles. Now we're going to dry this up real good now. What I think I'll do is I'll just go ahead and blot up some of this with a paper towel, get some of the extra moisture off of there. So use a paper towel to blot it up just a little bit. Okay, all right, now, so it took a little while to dry it. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off the tape, the drywall tape, and let's see what's underneath. Now here I'm looking for texture, and what I want to do is put these strips over here. So I put quite a few strips on here, and that one's gone. I have another one down here. So you can cut them up in different pieces, different sizes, and different shapes. So you really have it's a little bit of versatility, but it's like a mesh. And see how some of the sky will show through. I'll pull this off. There's a bigger piece. And here's another one. So I really want to put it behind this flower to see what we look like. There's another piece. So we're gonna get an interesting textural and down here in the grass. So self stick them. It's like a Post-it pad. And it's like stencil, like putting a stencil down, and then you're painting over top of the stencil, and then you're going to leave the holes painted. Here's another piece I took off, and hopefully I saved enough of the flowers. And I got one more piece down here, another piece here. There's a big piece there. There's a big one, long. Okay. And I got one more over here in the corner. So I put a lot of tape on it. I really want to get a special effect here. See how this works. Okay. Got a little bit of green in the sky. I just picked that up. It's okay. We'll make that into a bird or something. All right. Now there's what the tape looks like underneath. Now still, this is just the beginning part. Just the beginning part. Okay. All right, now we're going to go in now and do a little bit of design work around the flowers. So what I'm going to do is pick up another brush here. And I think I'll use this is a number 8 round Holbein. And I'm going to use, I'm going to put the center of the flowers first. A little bit of orange, yellow. And then I'll go in and put the centers in. Center of the daisy. There's a large one over here, and I try to make these shapes all different. Also, I made from the photograph. Went in and got some shapes that I thought were interesting, and I enlarged this. I made these a lot larger than the photograph because I wanted it to pop out. Okay. There's another one over here. So this will identify the daisies, the centers. Even though we have the texture around and so forth, this will identify the location of the flowers. There's a little one over here. Big and small. There's a large one and small ones, different sizes, different shapes. Let's see. Now this big one up here, different angle. So this is really a experimentation on not just using the drywall tape to come up with texture and then make this into an interesting painting. Let's see, I got just a little one over here, another little one facing the other way. And I got a small one down here. Okay. Okay, so that's the centers of them. And I think what I'll do is put a little bit of shading in there now. Let's see. So I'll take a little bit of light blue, I think. I'll move my spray bottle aside and clean up a little space up here. Use my sponge. I'll take a little bit of cerulean blue, light blue. And this will be the kind of the shadow color on the petals. We've got this will be reflecting the colors from the sky. So I'll start with this one here and start defining some of these petals a little bit. Don't want it too dark. Make it a little different color than the sky itself. And you know, in Daisy, these petals overlap each other, and one in front of the other, next to one another. They overlap. Just trying to get that characteristic here. Just a hint of a petal. I'll get some more over here. I might have to put a little color of sky behind some of these areas too, just to fill in some of the blanks. Now, this big one here now will have a lot more shadows on it. Building up the shape of these petals. You notice here I'm going back into the water bucket and rewetting the brush because I do a gradation of this shadow shape. Just a hint, just hinting at the shape and the size. Come down here, and there's a little shadow under here. Okay, so you have a little bit closer, little shadows on the petals. So it's going to be kind of an abstract look at a daisy, but that's what I want. A little abstract with lots of texture, and just get the impression of of a flower. Okay. Now I think I'll darken some of the background in there. I'll take a little bit of that cobalt blue and go behind and define a little bit more of this background. I'll break the flowers apart just a little bit more. Make it a little more believable. And again, I don't want to take away the originality of the shape. So I can just fill in a hint of a few places. Just to sharpen it up a little bit. So, you know, I've noticed in art you don't have to show the whole shape. You just show enough of it to make it a little more believable. Here I'm filling in some of the spaces now that the tape took away. And I'm coming back and reinforcing that shape a little bit. So up here needs a little help in this section. And I still got the texture behind. This texture behind still works. So they're going to be some wild looking daisies here. But that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. This one here. Give a little more definition on this. This one. A small one down here, and this needs a little help over here. Again, just kind of defining a little more edge on some of these, just to give a little more definition. Okay, and then I'll change into the green now. I got down, some of these are covered with some green, so I'll come down here with some green and pick this up a little bit over here. Define this petal here a little bit better using the green around the edge. Okay, and this one over here, this little one here needs a little help for definition. Help the edges on this one. So now I'm going in and adding a little more edge control around the flowers so that they pop out a little bit more. Not too much detail, just enough to show that there's a flower there. And that's all I need. Don't need much more than that. Okay. And what I can do up here is I can take a little bit of a cobalt blue. Take a little bit of cobalt blue here, and I'll fill in a little more of the sky, just a touch up here. Kind of fill out the edges. I don't want too much deep. I don't want any detail here on the edge of it, so I'm moving that around a little bit more. And then down here, fill up this area down. I don't want the edge to be too much defined along the edge. Kind of cover those up. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Now I think what I'll do now. Last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put in some stems, and I think I'll take another brush. I'm gonna use this Scotty. That's a number 10 round, number 12 round Scotty. And I'm going to use a little bit of Hooker's green and maybe a little bit of burnt sienna. Give me a little nice dark green. what I'm going to do is going to go in here now and put in some stems. So down here I'm going to put in, let's see, I think what I'll do is bring this one over here. Bring this stem down from there. And I'll bring this one over. Put some stems in here. Maybe a little leaf, maybe add a little leaf over here. A little extra. Adding some leaves to these stems. Make them a little more interesting. And I think I'll put some up in here. See if I got some room in here. I think I'll bring this stem on down from here and have it match into this one over here. Do a little bit there. That's coming down. And then I've got one over here I want to put in. So just a hint. Just a hint of shapes, and I think I'll put one up in here. I'm going to have some stray stalks that are up there. Have this one come through. Put some greenery up around these whites so they show off a little bit better. Yeah. And there's a little bud up here. It's hard to see because it's kind of wiped out with the design. I think I'll leave that one alone. And I think I'll put a little bit of design over here. Okay. All right. And I think I'll take I love this quill brush. The last touch I'm going to make now, make a couple abstract shapes here in the background. So just light, because there's other flowers back here. There's a whole host of flowers back, so I'm going to do a little in the grass. So I'll put some grass strokes down here. This quill brush holds a lot of paint. And it comes to a point. I'm going to use it as a flat brush, or I'll use it as a round brush, depending how I want to use it. I'm going to put grass around these stalks now to give them a little more believable that we have grass down here at the bottom. Fill in some of the gaps. Okay, that's kind of a wild picture, a wild painting. But look at the texture in there. You can see the texture of that tape You know, yeah, I kind of get carried away in some areas, maybe not. So let's put a mat around that. Let's take a check. I'm gonna put a blue mat around the blue sky. Okay, bring it over here. Straighten it up a little bit. Okay, there's my daisies. I did a daisy and I used the drywall tape as a background and texture. And I thought that came around. I add a little butterfly to come flying around into the daisies, okay? So that's my daisy picture for today. So hope you enjoyed that. So let's go back to my main camera. Hey, well, experimentation, that's what it's all about. And try. First time I ever used that tape, first time I painted on it, and to find out what it looks like. I went ahead and put more on there than I needed, but I wanted to get extra choices of how to paint that in. And you can fill in some of the blanks or some of the areas that get a little bit carried away. But as far as a painting goes, it gives you automatic texture, and it gives you also a nice interesting background. You know, little squares, little lines, and you can move that tape around, or move that drywall tape around. You can make it do different angles. You can put it 45 degrees. You can twist a little bit. You can even pull some of the threads out, and you can have a skip and beat, stop and start design of that particular one. So there's all kinds of things you can do with it. So I hope you check out that video. I'm going to put it in the description below with Burchill, Karen Burchill. She's really a good artist, and she has a lot of fun with different techniques. She's more on the craft side, but hey, you know what? Craftspeople and artists, we all share a lot of interests together. So when you find a technique that you like to try, you know, it works in both worlds. So give it a try. And so if you like this video, give me a like and a thumbs up. I appreciate that. And I'll be back again next week with another interesting watercolor drawing, watercolor painting. And until then, you all stay safe, and give me a like and a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. It helps with my rating. Okay, and so until next week, I'll be back later on with Simply Drawing with Everett. I'll do another. I'm going to do another flower drawing, so you might want to check me out on that. Different flower, but it'll be a drawing exercise. And then on the weekends, I do Anyone Can Draw with One Eye Only. You might enjoy watching that too. It comes out on Sunday. So if you're subscribed to this channel, you'll be notified of all those videos that come online on YouTube. I got over 900 videos, so you can enjoy something on there. I've got all kinds of variety of all kinds of paintings and drawings and all things about art. So I hope you enjoy that. So until next week, you all stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video.